OK, let's get more on that game. Delighted to say we're joined by a man who remembers a very different time at Manchester United. Very good morning to Mikel Silvestre.
Back in the day, no, for sure, we don't have this type of performances. It's difficult to witness. It's difficult to be a fan of Manchester United at the moment. I'm meeting a lot of them wherever I'm going, and they suffer. Yeah, it's tough because we don't recognize the values and the fighting spirit specifically. I think that's what's missing at the moment.
OK, so questions, Mikel, are being asked about Erik ten Hag's future again this morning. Can he hold on?
I think obviously the situation has to be questioned in the full season, because you can argue that, yes, there is a lot of injuries, especially key position, backbone, backline. But when you see the positioning of the players yesterday against Crystal Palace, the collective positioning, after one move, one pass, you have 3-4 players out of the position, not in the picture anymore. They can't defend. This is coaching, So yes, you can question Casemiro and Evans for the first 2 goals, personal mistakes, but that can happen. But for me, the most concerning is the amount of goals and chances conceded this season. This is purely coaching. This is your philosophy. This is something that needs to be fixed, because yes, those players might not be playing at the moment all of the games all together, but the principles, do you work on them every day in training? So there is a big question mark for that, for sure.
There's so many things I want to pick up on there, Mikel. We'll come on to Casemiro in a moment. But interesting to hear what you were saying there, because Jamie Carragher saying after the game as well that this is one of the most poorly coached teams in the Premier League. So what did you make of that?
Well, it's difficult to understand from the performance last season, winning the League Cup, finishing in the Champions League spot, and the team was on the rise. I think the team improved last season. So to see what happened this season, in the contrary, it's I don't understand. And I'm like you, I'm outside. I don't know what's happening behind closed doors, but it's a concern for sure, because I believe those points have been addressed, because I know some of the staff of there, Steve McLaren, from my time at United. So I'm sure they are extremely professional, extremely conscious about what's happening. But still, the result and the way they behave as a team, offensively also, it's not great. So there wasn't any positive to take from the game last night.
Yeah, but as you said, there are some mitigating circumstances. They are, of course, riddled with injury problems. I mean, you could have got a game last night, I think. Is there any excuse for what we saw?
Yeah, well, if you know you have a weakness, which is your backline, at least protect it. But that wasn't the case. We could see that the players were exposed. Like, Casemiro losing the ball at the right back position, losing the ball on the other side on the left back position. I mean, that's not where he's supposed to be. So they should have been more cautious. I mean, you are not in a good form. You leave Coventry, score 3 goals in 45 minutes, even 4, to be accurate. You go to Crystal Palace, go on the back foot, try to concede as less chances as possible and stay in the game. But when you concede a goal like this after 12 minutes, I mean, what are your chances? And then your attitude doesn't change. So there was Harry Maguire missing, there was Bruno Fernandes. So the leadership as well, I think, was missing last night.
Yeah, and with those absentees, Casemiro had to step into that. There's been a lot of criticism, you've mentioned it, of him. It was a tough night for him. But is that fair to judge him playing so badly out of position?
Well, it's easy to say, oh, he's gone, that's it, he should be leaving. But, that's only one game. I don't think you should judge any player whatsoever after one game. You can have a bad performance. I believe that in the right setup with the right players around him in the midfield area, not as a centre back, not with Johnny Evans. No offense to Johnny, but he wasn't in the plan at the beginning of the season when you have 4 recognized centre back. He was signed as a backup after training a few months. So, that pairing is nowhere near what is required at the Premier League level. So they got punished. I think, Casemiro on 3 occasions made the wrong call. He was cut out. But it's not an excuse because they should be backup. They should be a togetherness in that team. And once a player is beaten or make a mistake, looks like there is no one else to come to the rescue. So that's kind of problematic when you go in and face Arsenal at the weekend, and then you have that FA Cup final to prepare against Manchester City.
We'll mention the Arsenal game in a moment. But you mentioned Johnny Evans there. He's someone, of course, you know very well from your time at the club. How surprised do you see him back at United and to be the most senior player in that back 4?
Well, Johnny has done extremely well to stay in the game, to resign for Manchester United. Credit to him. He played some very good game, but coming back into that team, which is lacking confidence, which is lacking organization. The goal where Mateta ran past him. For me, it's not really the challenge because, he should back up. But it's at the beginning of the movement. He should be much higher on the pitch with the other team, with other teammates, the back line. And that pass wouldn't be allowed. So there's a few things to adjust like this. But the fact that he's a senior player, is the most experienced player on the pitch last night, it shows you the difficulties that Erik ten Hag has been facing this season to put together his strongest side. I don't think he's ever been able to do that.
Yeah, I guess the question amongst United fans is how on earth do they repair this? There has been talk of a fire sale this summer, something Erik ten Hag has refuted. But how many players do you think United need to get out? And how many can they get out with the wages they're on?
Discussion will be happening internally at the club, especially with the new setup, the new people who are coming. So those calls will be extremely important if they want to give the manager the best chance. There are players that will be show the door for sure. But you have to restore self-belief. Whoever comes this summer, they have to be 100% sure that they will commit to the cause and they will be 100% Erik ten Hag style, or whoever's going to come and take over next season. There've been too many mistakes and too many recruitments at the last minute, and last minute you have better chance to make mistakes.